I'll say it like this, man. And I made a whole, and I want to pull it up actually. I want to pull it up so you guys can read it. I want to read it. I want you guys to read it along. Let me see if my computer's not tripping, because I made a community post and I pretty much had said that I think this fight right here with Dubois, beating up AJ the way he did and whatnot. I think it marked the official end of the Joshua Klitschko, um, the Joshua Klitschko, not that Klitschko, Joshua Wilder Fury era, I should say. To me, this was the end of that, and I want to actually pull the community post up on screen so you guys can read along, because I feel like we're in an interesting time. I know Fury still has to fight Usyk, um, but like, look, whether even if Fury, let's say if Fury beats Usyk, right? I don't think he's gonna beat Usyk in the rematch, but if he does beat Usyk, I don't think that it matters. I think he'll be Fury's gonna bow out gracefully, enjoy his millions, and call it a career. I don't think he'll fight after that. Just being honest. So this is what I wrote. I wrote this. I said this. I said yesterday's one-sided loss to Daniel Dubois, in my mind, marked the official end to the Joshua Wilder Fury era of heavyweight boxing. They've all now gotten old and have exercised behavior in the ring that emulates that of older fighters who have lost their love for the sport. It's been a fun era, but it left a lot to be desired. Each guy had their turn to grab the division by the horns, and none of them could. All of them made loads of money, but none of them fully capitalized on what the era could have been. Joshua versus Wilder never happened. Josh versus Fury never happened. And these guys let a cruiserweight come up and move them out of the way to become the dominant heavyweight of the era. Alexander Usyk conquered the era of heavyweight boxing he wasn't even supposed to have a part in. That should tell you everything about that you need to know about Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, and how they were all moving their career. Congrats once again to Daniel Dubois on whooping Anthony Joshua. He's one of boxing's true warriors and deserves some serious consideration for Fighter of the Year, which we already touched on. So that was my post from yesterday, and a lot of people, there were some things in there that they didn't understand. So I'm gonna clear it now that I'm here in video format. I can tell you, I can tell you what I meant. So one issue people have with what I said there is that they had an issue that I was saying that they let Usyk take the division over, and they think that I'm insulting Usyk, which I'm not insulting Usyk. They did let him take over the division because the reality is this: is if Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua find a way to hammer out a deal for an undisputed fight in 2018 and 2019, Usyk's not even in the picture, and if you want to even take it even further down the timeline, Tyson Fury even doing something so much as like fighting Francis Ngannou, that was extra time Usyk got to fill out into being a heavyweight. So these guys, I mean, and in Joshua's case, he fought Usyk twice and lost. So and Fury lost as well. So I say that to say these guys, through their actions, allowed Usyk to become relevant in the division. And then when they had their chances to fight him, they either A, prepared well and lost like Joshua, or B, they had miscalculations in preparation like Fury, wasted valuable time like Fury fighting Ngannou, then they lost to Usyk. So due to decision making and things like that, they let Usyk take over the division. Because what's funny is I remember in 2019, when I went to the UK, I was there at the Gatwick Airport out there in London, and I went to the newsstand, and at the newsstand they had a magazine, a Boxing Monthly magazine. And Boxing Monthly was a great publication for many years in the UK. They don't exist anymore, but one of the last Boxing Monthlies ever published, it was a cover that had Joshua, Fury, and Wilder on it, and they were basically trying to figure out. They're writing about who would be the dominant heavyweight of the era. So 5 years later, we got our answer, and the answer is none of them. Usyk is the dominant heavyweight of the era because Usyk is the guy that came up, beat two of the big three, and became undisputed. So even if Fury beats him, I think Usyk is still the man because Usyk did it first. Usyk ended the undisputed heavyweight drought, which had been there for 20 something years, had all the odds against him, and he found the way to prevail. So, I've had a great time covering this era, like Joshua, Fury, Wilder, and I never seen Tyson Fury fight in person. I never saw anything. The only guy of these three I've seen fight in person was Wilder, but um, I've gotten a lot of views covering all these guys, but I think as good as it was, because they all gave us great moments, like Wilder knocking out Brazil the way he did, some of these fights, Luis Ortiz as well, great fights. Anthony Joshua, the Vladimir Klitschko fight, the classic fight, the Povetkin domination. Even in his losses to Andy Ruiz, really really good fight, first fight. The Usyk fights, really good fights, even in losses. Tyson Fury versus Wilder, a great trilogy. So it's not like we didn't get good positive things to come out of the era. I'm not saying it was a terrible era. I'm not trying to put these guys down. I'm a fan of all of them, but that era between those three of heavyweight boxing, it's not everything it could have been. Granted, Joshua can still fight Wilder, right? And that'd be cool. And Fury can still fight Joshua, but it's not gonna mean now what it meant when, let's say, Joshua and Wilder were undefeated in 2018, 2019. It's not gonna mean what Joshua versus Fury for undisputed could have meant, a couple years down the line from that. So that's what I'm saying. I would have loved to see these guys have fought each other, but look, God is the best of planners, and I guess God didn't want none of them to be undisputed. He wanted Usyk to be undisputed, so that's why allowed it to happen. So yeah, congratulations on a great era. Shout out to Joshua, shout out to Fury, shout out to Deontay Wilder. I've appreciated their careers for a long time, and looking forward to the next era. I feel like Dubois is part of that next era, that next crop. So we'll see how it goes. But let me go to